the economic troubles in Europe are challenging many industries and businesses, there are some who are riding out the storm better than others. News Insurance has met with Luke Savage, Director at Lloyd's of London, who told us how the Lloyd's is performing.
Lloyd's is about as well positioned as it can be to cope with the turmoils in the financial world. In terms of our capitalisation, it's stronger now than it's ever been. And in terms of our exposure to Europe and the troubles in Europe, it's minimal. Lloyd's has always had a very conservative approach to its investment strategy, and it means that when markets are really rallying, we tend to underperform on investment income compared to some of our peers. The flip side is that when markets are in turmoil, we tend to ride it out pretty well. So as a market, we don't have exposure to peripheral European governments or indeed to peripheral European banks. A lot of our exposure is to UK and US government bonds, and they've been seen as a safe haven. And with that flight to quality, our investment income has actually held up remarkably well. So with strong capital and a conservative investment base, we're about as well positioned as we can be. Lloyd's probably reached a bottom in terms of the fewest number of syndicates and managing agents back in about 2004, 2005. I think then we had about 63 or 64 syndicates. That number's now up at 87. So it's been about a 35% growth in the number of syndicates in the past 5 or 6 years. As fewer managing agents in terms of growth, that's up about 20% over the same period. But a big increase in the amount of business that's been written through the Lloyd's market. So we now have capacity well in excess of £20 billion compared to perhaps 13 or 14 billion back in the middle of the last decade. So it's a real story of growth and going from strength to strength. I think we're seeing an increased demand for insurance for a number of reasons. I think firstly, in times when businesses are struggling to make money, and there's just not a lot of inherent profitability in the global economy generally, people they're less able to absorb losses themselves. So if you're making loads of profits, you can afford to self-insure. If you're not making profit, a loss through insurance without insurance is going to hurt you that much more. So in depressed times, it pushes up people's need for insurance. I think what we're also seeing is that as some of the emerging markets start to evolve and develop more, the demand for insurance from those countries is increasing. And I think the third dimension is emerging risks. So whether that is supply chain risk coming about because of increased natural disasters, or perhaps civil unrest off the back of the financial problems and so on. I think every day there are more and more risks that people are realising their business is exposed to. So that again is increasing the demand.